Ready?
So ready.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Dish.
You could have
with
waited until I got
Tate,
that face
with
off
Tate
my
and
face.
Glenn.
Tate?
I'm Tate.
And I'm Glenn.
Today is a beautiful day
It was
in Michigan.
warm.
Yeah. And
Thank you, all these hurricanes, for bringing us gorgeous weather.
but you were trapped inside all day.
I was trapped
working
inside,
your
but I
life
prefer
away.
it. I prefer it. I had a good day at work, and then a really intense last 2 hours of work, and then I got really good again. Because what did we have for dinner? $109 worth of Mediterranean food.
And it tasted great.
It's 6 out of 10.
It was good.
I paid $6 for a Diet Coke.
That's really nice.
I have a problem.
Shouldn't have Diet Coke. That's what the moral of the story is.
No, that's totally the moral of the
See,
story.
100%.
Totally the moral of the story.
How's that?
So tired.
That's cool.
What'd you do today? You were so productive today.
Productive. I didn't go to the gym today because my back hurt.
I know.
So I had to take a day off.
How does it feel to be old
It's fine.
and decrepit?
And then I put some stuff up around the house, and I mowed the lawn, and I did
Guys,
some stuff.
comment down below if you want house tours for
Yeah.
the both of us.
Yeah. And yeah, I just kind of chilled, and then I fed my doggies, and you came over, and that was it. It was a great day. It was a beautiful day. I hung out outside a lot today. It was nice.
We just sat outside for a
good
minute.
while, yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. I
Yeah.
generally don't like the outside, but this is the outside that I like the most.
Yeah. Today we are going to be talking about a brand new movie.
Let me introduce
A little Crazy Town.
It's probably one of my favorite movies that came out this year, from what I can remember. It is a movie called Longlegs from the year of our Lord 2024.
Longlegs.
It's a crisp hour and 41 minutes. It's a very slow burn, though. I am always surprised at how long that movie feels at the end of it.
Yeah.
I saw it about 4 or 5 times in theaters, and then Chase bought a bootleg copy on eBay for $10.
It's nice. Looks good.
It worked really well.
Perfect. Yeah.
You are so smart. We touched on it last week, but you took all of your DVDs out of the cases because you at one point had your entire TV stand and an entire closet
Full of DVDs.
full of DVDs.
And I still had some
Blu-rays.
out 'cause I couldn't fit
Yeah,
them.
they were strewn about the property. Now you have 2 90s like CD cases full
Yeah.
of them,
Yeah,
and it's
great.
perfect.
It's
It
awesome.
was really nice. We actually
And I
used
have
them.
room for more.
Yes,
So that's
we
cool, too.
we used them when we picked out the movies for this season. We sat down with those and like went over and we're like, oh, we like this one. We kind of came up with like a broad list, cut them all down. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
But yeah, you had the really smart idea of just buying the movie without the box, and you saved literally $16.
Yeah.
It was a great idea. But yeah. It's an hour and 41 minutes. It is not currently streaming, but like honestly, if you are like a horror fan, I'm not trying to say it's the best horror movie out there, but it is definitely one to have in the collection because I think because of the actors that are in it and because of the performances that were portrayed, I think it's definitely going to kind of go down as like it's like Hereditary. It's like I almost said it's like The Fly, but that might be overstepping. I think it's going to be a very important movie for like horror fans.
Yeah. The
Like,
Fly
It
is a little more
Follows.
disturbing, I would say.
Yeah. It's very like everyone always compares it to Silence of the Lambs, but I'm like that's just because there's a female FBI
I
agent.
think the person that made that movie also said that he has really influenced by Silence of the Lambs.
He might have been, yeah.
I'm pretty sure when I was deep diving that I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a fun fact about the guy who directed this. But how about you hit us with that quick one sentence
Osgood Perkins.
synopsis?
Synopsis in this movie is easy. In pursuit of a serial killer, an FBI agent uncovers a series of occult clues that she must solve to end his terrifying killing spree.
Some fun facts about this movie here. Many of Longlegs' encrypted messages contained misspellings and poor grammar after being decoded. This is an homage to the Zodiac Killer, who was also known for his coded messages containing typos, which often made it more difficult to decode his message. That would be so hard. First of all, you have no cipher. You have no way of figuring this out.
Yeah.
and then it's also misspelled.
I feel like there are people that like literally get paid to do that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
Code breakers. I would love to do that.
That would be hard.
I would love it. I want it to happen. Despite the praise and acclaim of his portrayal as Longlegs, Nicolas Cage has stated that this will be his first and only portrayal of a serial killer for a film. In an interview with IndieWire, Cage said, "I know that the phone's going to be ringing off the hook to play serial killers after Longlegs, and that's not really what I like to do. I don't like violence. I don't want to play people who are hurting people." Honestly, he's definitely at the point of his career where he can pick and choose.
Yeah,
and he does not have to do this
been in
again.
800 movies. So.
He did a phenomenal job. I think he was a great villain. He was a great creepy person.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
You showed everyone that you could do it. You did it. You're done.
Yeah, I got it. I get that.
And then one of my favorite fun facts that we've done in a while. The writer and director of this movie, Osgood Perkins, is the son of Anthony Perkins, who is the actor who is best known for playing Norman Bates in 1960s Psycho, as well as its 3 sequels. This movie had a budget of less than $10 million, which is what it made on its opening day. It made back its budget in 1 day.
That's nice.
So sick.
Yeah, very nice.
Holy cow. I can't believe it. Yeah, dude. That's it. That's incredible. I love that so much. You want to hit us with part 1? Or what were your initial thoughts about this movie when I brought it up to you? Because we kind of talked about it. We had a different movie planned for this week, and then I was like, what if we did Longlegs? Because that's coming out. Like, what were you thinking about this movie? Or what are your kind of thoughts now? Because you had a tumultuous ride.
I was apprehensive because I felt like people were comparing it to movies that like you shouldn't compare movies to.
Yeah.
And then so that like is I don't like to go into things with like a perception of it already.
Wise.
But it's hard when like people are like, oh, it's like it reminds me of this or it reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Which I just don't really necessarily agree with. Like, I don't really know how that could, like, if the director is really saying that, like, it's like it was like inspired by Silence of the Lambs, I just don't really understand what would be. There's nothing about it that has anything to do with Silence of the Lambs.
That's the thing.
Anyway.
There's a female FBI agent. That's like it.
And a serial killer.
The killings aren't the same.
And the serial
the
killer,
motives
like,
aren't the
yeah,
same.
it's not like the same at all. The serial,
The MOs,
like
yeah.
Hannibal Lecter is like a totally different level of criminal than.
Well, and that's the thing because Silence of the Lambs
Longlegs.
isn't about Hannibal Lecter.
Right, yeah.
It's about
Buffalo Bill.
Right, which is funny.
It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like that was weird. So,
yeah,
I don't know. And like I said, the
Understandable.
movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was really unique. I wouldn't say it was like anything though like that to me.
I don't think it is like Silence of the Lambs. I think Silence of the Lambs was a lot more like forward. And I think Longlegs is a very like heady, psychological, like we were kind of talking about and you had your opinions about it. But like for me, I went and saw it I think the next day or 2 days later, I went and saw it again. And then I just started deep diving and I like looked up as much as I could about it. There's like a lot of stuff that you don't really catch the first few times you watch it. It's like I immediately started I watched it 4 or 5 times in theaters. I like did all this research. Our friend Allie, close friend of the pod, she and I went and saw it actually together and we talked about like the things that we learned about it and all like the hidden messages and stuff. And like I like movies like that, but I know a lot of people like they want to be of an audience where like you're watching a movie and you get all the information you need. You don't want like homework afterwards, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I really, really, really liked it.
Yeah, it was good. I'll kind of lay it out first and we'll go from there, okay?
Heck yeah, please do.
All right. So it opens with like a little girl and she's like in a yard. Like her house is like small but cute. It's like a white little farmhouse.
It's very farmhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cute. And she's like outside and she's looking down the driveway and she sees this car that's like a wagon that is just like sitting there and I think it's on too.
Yeah,
it's
it like drove up and it's
idle.
just hanging out.
just
Yeah.
idle. And
Fievel.
and then this guy like kind of approaches her that is like very disturbing looking with like makeup on his face, like white makeup, and he has like a like slacks on and a vest and a shirt and a sweater and his like hair's all long and straggly. He looks gross.
It's all
He
acid
looks
washed.
like a He looks like D. Snyder, only like a grosser
Bloated.
version of D. Snyder. Yeah.
Ew, that's
Yeah.
1,000% what
He
he looks like.
does,
A
yeah.
bloated D. Snyder.
Yeah, it's gross. He looks like D. Snyder if D. Snyder was murdered and thrown in the Detroit River for 3 weeks, and then you pick. Yeah, that's exactly.
And he
what
walks
it
like Iggy Pop.
Yeah, he's like a very intimidating, very like ominous person.
Very
you know what I mean?
gross. Yeah.
And it's like a flashback basically, and then like that, like fast forward now to like her as like a little kid, or her as an FBI agent, Lee is tracking like the serial killer Longlegs now. So like that's what's happening. And basically like what ends up happening is her partner is killed, and like he's like killed in like such a like I feel like it's so weird because like they're like looking for a guy, and like she basically has, let's say, like semi psychic ability
Yeah,
where
she has,
like
like, a
she can just
psychic
kind of
episode.
so because she just like basically they're in this neighborhood and she's like he's in like that house.
Yep.
Like
She gets
and-
out the car. She's like, he's in that house.
yeah, and like so the guy's like, okay, cool, let's just go, and like he like literally just like bangs on this guy's door, this killer that like they're looking for, and he's like FBI, and he answers the door. The guy like I think he shoots him right in the head.
Shoots him right in the head immediately.
Yeah, and he dies.
Yep.
And like the girl is just kind of like hyperventilating. You know what I mean? And,
She really has a breathing problem.
Yeah, having like a serious problem. She always breathes like that.
She has a hard time.
God, dude.
Listen, man, her partner just got shot in the face in front of her.
Yeah.
The first door they knock on to like canvas, they're like looking for the killer, and they're just like canvassing neighborhoods.
I feel like she should be more concerned that like she just knew where he was. To be honest, like that's more unsettling.
it never
to me.
really ruffles her feathers that she's
No,
psychic.
I would be like, what is
It's like,
happening?
hello?
Yeah. Like this just you're like 30. This just randomly started happening to you. Like that's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so that ends up happening, and it kind of gives you a baseline for who she is, like as a person agent, her ability,
Yeah.
you know, all that jazz, and like she's a good agent, I would say. Like she's just like new, and she's green, and like things are just scary, and like I mean, in her defense, like wild things are gonna happen, like so
Really
that's, like,
shocking things, even for a veteran FBI.
Sure,
agent.
yeah, like it's still disturbing, right? Like for sure, yeah. So anyway, she's assigned the Longlegs case. She kind of discovers that like all the families, like the little kid, like in the family, the youngest kid, I think it is, have the same birthday. I think it's the 14th.
Yeah, but it's the 14th of each month, and
month, yeah.
it's single daughters. The
Right.
family only has
that's
one
right.
daughter.
Yeah, that's right. And they're kind of like trying to figure this out because like now that they know that there's like some sort of ritualistic like pattern to this, it's kind of like a little bit more of a clue. And it's weird because like he's not killing anybody. It's like he visits people, and like the families, they just kind of start like getting weird, and then like the dad kills everybody and like he kills himself. It's like a murder suicide situation.
Yeah, it's always
each
the
time.
dad.
It's very eerie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. He also leaves these like letters behind with like I guess his like own language code.
Yeah, it's very
Symbols.
Zodiac killer.
Like yeah, it is very. It honestly, yeah, it does remind me of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's interesting. Anyways,
It's creepy.
so yeah, so she starts going through these letters and trying to decode it, and I feel like she's more of like she's like one of those agents that really isn't like a field agent. She's more of like definitely
she's
like a
analytical.
research. Like,
she
yeah.
needs to be on the back end.
Yeah, I think, and
Which
that's her
honestly,
strong point.
I
That's
would
great.
love
No,
to do
those
that.
are great things.
I want to be on the back end.
Yeah.
I don't want to be out there, dude.
I think a lot of that work is done like that, you know.
For
like,
sure, for sure.
So yeah, but she's like doing all that, and she like figures things out basically. And while she's doing that and like working on it, she like it's her birthday, and she receives a birthday card, and it's from Longlegs.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty like threatening to her, you know. And so basically, like she's like a little bit weirded out, and she's like, I gotta head to this crime scene, and I gotta like figure this out.
Yeah.
And
Well, the birthday card that he gives her is the only piece of communication that Longlegs is given where he gives a cipher with
right,
it.
exactly. So on the back of the card, like there's like this cipher, and it basically like decodes everything, which makes it basically is a key to the other stuff that he's already written. So she's gonna head to the crime scene and like look and see if she can figure some stuff out now with her new evidence. But basically, like instead of that, she ends up like getting there and like finding this like really weird doll that's like probably the size of like an 8-year-old.
Yeah, it's the size of like
Yeah.
a child. It's like a
And-
porcelain doll.
Yeah, and it's like really like well made. Like it's
Yeah.
like it's very like, and it's handmade. Like you can tell like somebody like really took care of it.
Super nice.
And
Human
it,
hair.
Yeah, and it has this like weird, like solid metal like orb in its head.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the size of like a baseball,
Yeah.
and it's like very strange. Maybe a little smaller than baseball, but it's like. Yeah, just like this solid metal orb. It looks like one of those things that people play with in their
Fushigi.
hands. Yeah, dude. Doesn't it look like that?
Oh,
It
yeah.
does, really.
It doesn't have like the clear coating around it, but
Yeah.
it's just literally just a metal ball.
Yeah.
And like the guy who discovers it, like the crime scene, he's like, what's the doctor that does the autopsies? He's like a mortician almost. Coroner. He's basically a coroner because he like almost like
Yeah.
performs an autopsy, and he calls the metal ball like the brain because it was in the head, and he's like, it's completely empty, it's hollow and it's empty, there's nothing in it. But then he like holds an instrument up to it, and like it's like making these really weird noises, and he's like, I was in here really late last night and it kept like telling me to kill my ex-wife, and like just like these really weird things. And like Harker ends up touching it, and she like gets like visions,
Like
like
a
psychic
psychic thing,
visions.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just really uncomfortable. It makes like not a lot of sense, honestly.
No, it just kind of builds. It's like building right now. It's like
Yeah,
showing you
for sure.
like what she's capable of and what's really going on right now.
For sure.
I was like surprised how quickly they introduced Longlegs into the movie, and then how
First shot.
quickly. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So that was the first half, I would say.
First
Or
third.
the first third, rather.
Come
Not
on,
First
man.
half, yeah. Sorry.
I have a question for you about this
Yes.
first.
Yeah,
this
sure,
First
yes.
third, and I'm really excited about your input on this.
Okay.
My question is, do you believe in any level of like psychic powers, like whether it's being used in law enforcement or like day-to-day life, like you go pay $5 and they read your palm? What do you feel about quote unquote like self-proclaimed psychics? How do you feel? What's your stance? What are you feeling?
I think that that's an ability that is a possibility, but I don't think it's a very common thing. I think it's quite rare. I don't necessarily think that like if you had an ability like that, you would try to monetize on it. But I'm not really sure. But I would say like people do like a lot of really inexplicable things, and amazing things. So I feel like there's always the option. What are you doing?
It looked like
There's
your mic
always-
wasn't plugged in.
There's
Sorry.
always the option of something like that being able to happen, and I do believe that like there are actually real experiments and files of the FBI using people and testing them and trying to see if they have psychic abilities to
Yeah.
like do stuff like in war and like overseas and like spy stuff like that. That's definitely been a thing that's been used. Had that been like successfully done? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm not sure, but I know there's plenty of programs like that out there. So like I would say yeah, I do believe that.
I feel you. I have a hard time with like proper like psychic people, but
What do you mean by that?
like people like literally being able to see the future or read minds. Like I don't think that's real. Like
Like ever, you're saying?
I don't know. I think they talk about psychics in the Bible.
Oh my god.
That's very me. Listen, if it goes back to the Bible, I believe in it. That's fine. I'm totally down.
For Pete's sake.
Relax. I think like nowadays, like as fun as it is, I have a very close friend, Jamie. Love you, Jamie. Shouts out. And we like have this joke where it'll be like, well, me as an empath, I feel this. Like I think like there is a certain level of like empath where you can like be hypersensitive to people's like feelings and opinions and like kind of like mindset around you. That I fully agree with, because me being an empath, I think I'm very much like that, and I'm very sensitive to how people are feeling and how they're like acting around me and like everyone's like energies. But I don't think like I could be like, oh, there's a spirit in this room. Like I think that's too much. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think for me right now in my day-to-day life, I have not been privy or witness to anything like that. So I'm like, I'm good
It's
on that.
hard to accept that.
Yeah, again, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of testing on psychic abilities and stuff like that. So like, I feel like there's definitely want for it, but sometimes I think if you want to find something too much, you will find it. And I think sometimes like hunches are just your brain trying to like run through logistics really quick and like give you the best opportunity, and you're just like, oh, a psychic, it like came to my brain. Like, no, your brain is just like, this makes sense, do this. Like, that's what. Like, it's not like you didn't see the future, okay?
Yeah.
I have a hard time with it.
Okay. Let's see if it's time
Whoa,
for a little piquant.
Gentle with your
Let's see what we got here.
I'm nervous. You got a lot going on right now, and I'm scared.
Okay. I don't know if I want to do it in the order that I said now, so I think I'm going to do it actually this way instead. Because we just talked about dolls.
Ewy.
And criminals and serial killers.
Criminal dolls.
I did. I told Ben today already, everybody, so you're going to have the disclaimer now. I had to dive through some pretty gnarly things today because we had to have questions for pop quizzes that were,
vile,
appropriate for what we were talking about today.
Yeah.
So viewer discretion,
All right.
advised.
Be gentle to me.
Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I can be, mind freak.
Okay, here we go. Okay, which out of these is a real crime involving dolls?
Oh, no.
So one of them is real.
Only one of them is real?
One of them is
the
real.
rest of these are from your effed up brain?
It took me a long time, okay? Oh, gosh. All the people that I'm talking about are real people.
Okay.
I want to tell you that, too, just so to make it a little bit better for you, okay?
Oh, God.
Here we go. It's going to be A. Harold Shipman would make...
Harold Shipman?
Ship that floats on the water.
I'm going to call him Ship.
Harold Shipman. This is A. Harold Shipman would make his captive sleep chained to a doll he made of his likeness while he was gone.
It was definitely something outside.
B.
That's gross.
Anatoly
I know someone named Anatoly.
Miskiven mummified at least 29 girls who he kept as quote-unquote dolls in his apartment.
Ugh.
C. Jose Lopez made his victims dress and act like dolls around his farm. If they didn't comply, he would feed them to the other captives as a sign of power.
You do that to Nev.
I do that, yeah. And then D. Robert Picton, Canadian.
Okay, I already know that's not fake. That's not real because
I listened to a podcast about him.
Oh, so
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. Robert Picton was found on his farm in the process of combining victims' body parts that he claimed, quote unquote, were their best attributes into a Frankenstein monster-like doll that he had planned on marrying.
Ew. So, did you like ruin it by telling me that you heard about him, or is that
ruin
real?
anything?
Okay,
I didn't do anything. I'm just saying I listened to a podcast about him. I didn't say that the information.
That's
is
not
right or
necessarily
wrong.
what he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, all of these unfortunately are so believable.
I know. I love that. I tried to make it hard for you. I didn't want to be
It's
like.
very
I
hard.
want you to be a little bit thrown off.
One that I want to get rid of right away, just because you used
You don't
the
want
number
you don't want it to
29.
be.
It's just because you used the number 29,
Okay.
mummified 29 girls, and kept them in his apartment.
Okay.
I wanna get
You're
rid of
getting
that.
rid of it.
I'm getting rid of it.
Okay.
Did
all right.
not happen.
Okay.
Fake, fabricated.
Okay.
It was all made up.
So that's B.
So B. A, the doll of his likeness. I don't think that is true.
Okay.
I think the psychosis of a killer, he wouldn't necessarily like try to make like a copy of himself. I think he would almost want to
Okay.
like
I see what
distance
you're saying.
himself like
Yeah.
from it and like maybe make a likeness of them. So then in his brain he's like, oh no, they're just dolls. I don't know.
Yeah. Totally.
So I'm gonna eliminate A.
Okay. So A and B are gone.
Yeah.
So now we have Jose Lopez and Robert Picton. Jose Lopez made his victims dress and act like dolls. And then we got Robert Picton on his farm.
It's so tough.
It's tricky.
Both of them I hate.
People are messed up.
Can you also see what's going on up here? Because this is driving me insane.
I don't know. People are messed up though.
They really, and that's the thing. Like,
It's really
both of
hard.
these are so like believable.
They're just
to me.
terrible. Yeah, there's awful things.
I'm just gonna pick the third one, dressing them up on the farm. Dressing them up like dolls and making them
eating-
be like dolls,
eating
and then
eating
forcing the other ones to eat them.
Okay, cool.
Oh, it was Barty. Barty was in here recording with us.
Oh, very nice.
He's right there.
That's wrong.
Of course it is. Well, that's the thing. You said, well, the last one obviously has to be true. And then you're like, no, I never said that. And I was like,
No, that was wrong. Do you want to try again, or do you want me to just tell you?
Oh.
That's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know which one it is. Shoot. Then my second guess is going to be the last one.
It's wrong.
Ew.
I know. I'm sorry.
Is
My
it the
brain
mummified
is just-
apartment? That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way they could do that in an apartment, but like, what's his face? You know. What's the one that they made the Netflix show about?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer did all that nasty stuff in his apartment. It took them years to catch him.
Yes, so I have some info about this.
I'm sorry, my foot
so
is
that we can
invading
dive a little
space.
bit, so you can get more
Cool.
info about what.
Please tell
what
me
you
more
didn't
about
get right.
this.
Okay, so this is actually relatively recent.
Ew.
So that this happened. Anatoly Moskvin, who lives in Russia,
Yeah.
this is pretty impressive. So he spoke 13 languages.
Can you
traveled extensively, taught at the college level, and was a journalist in Russia's 5th largest city. Also a self-proclaimed expert on cemeteries, he dubbed himself a quote-unquote necropolist, end quote. He was arrested for the exhumation and mummification of 29 girls between ages 3 and 25. He kept them in his apartment, preserved and dressed all of them, and
Come on, man.
painted their faces like dolls. Ugh. I saw their photos. You can see them online. They're very disturbing. They look like dolls, but like in the most like crude way possible.
Should we put
So
some,
he would
should we
dig-
put some pictures into the video?
No. So he would dig up dead bodies.
Oh, so he didn't kill them.
No.
He just disrespected graves.
No.
Worse?
That's what I was saying. So he only got arrested for exhumation and mummification of a body.
I hate
29 times he got that.
How many life sentences did he get?
He didn't get. I don't know if he got life sentences or not. I'm not sure about that in Russia. That's tricky. I'm not 100% sure.
Russia's just a slap on the wrist.
Yeah. So that was my
That's
first
vile.
PQ.
Oh, that's tough.
I'm sorry.
And they get better or worse, huh?
Well, you know,
Cool.
some of them are really. No, I would say that one's a pretty bad one.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's
Go ahead.
great.
Thank you.
It's just,
I didn't want you to get it right because like that would mean like you're like they've won and you're not innocent anymore. So I'm glad you got it wrong. Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I know all about them. It was him.
I love how like the B you were like it's definitely not that one. That one's like definitely not it.
Well, yeah, because I was like, no way he's got all them little girls in his apartment.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So gross. So sad.
So
Yeah.
gross.
Okay. Part two.
Okay.
Do.
So,
Dwa.
Agent Harker and her boss, the other FBI agent, what's his name? I'll find it. It's somewhere. Carter. Agent Carter. Harker and Carter end up visiting one of the survivors of a Longlegs attack. Where they find the doll, it's this farm. It's called the Camera family farm. This family's last name is Camera, which is
Is
really
it spelled that way?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Very odd.
Okay.
So they go to the Camera family farm. They find this doll.
Yeah.
And the doll is made in the likeness of the little girl that used to live there. That little girl is one of the only survivors of the Longlegs attacks, and she's at a mental hospital. Like
She's
she's
messed
like
up.
gone.
Yeah. She's catatonic.
The way she speaks is very interesting. She kind of speaks like this, all slow and stuff.
She's catatonic.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a really intense scene. I
Yeah.
really like that scene. I think that actor did a great job.
Yeah, she did.
So they go and they meet Carrie on camera, and they basically like try to like get to the bottom of why she was kept alive, like what happened, what the attack looked like. They kind of get from her like basically like this doll shows up at their house. Her mom and dad start going like crazy. Her dad kills her mom and then kills himself.
Yep.
And like basically Carrie Ann like falls in love with this doll. Like she's really close with her doll, and like she starts hearing her doll whispering to her and like all this stuff. And a few days before Harker and Carter go check on Carrie Ann, Longlegs actually visited her at the hospital. They didn't get his ID, they didn't ask for his name, they didn't ask for anything. He just walked in and talked to her. And she's now like obsessed with Longlegs. She's like, I would kill you right here where you stand if he asked me to do it. Like she's like really intense about it. Harker obviously has a hard time with that.
Yeah.
I mean, understandable. So while Harker is still kind of looking into this, she starts looking kind of more analytically at the dates and everything. And she's like, there has to be a pattern here. This can't just be random. So they find out like all of the daughters, their birthdays are on the 14th. So then she's like, okay, from all the years that he was active, she starts like plotting out all of the birth dates, and it actually makes like an inverted like pentagram in a way.
It's a satanic.
Yeah,
it's a
like,
satanic symbol.
Yeah, it's like a geometric symbol.
Yeah,
it's not a pentagram.
It's something else.
Yeah, it's a satanic.
It's like a
symbol.
triangle, and it's like a satanic symbol.
It's like two upside down triangles, but it's not like the Star of David. It's like a right side triangle and an upside down triangle, but then they don't like close in the middle. It's really weird. It's gross. It's ewy. Yeah. So she sees that like this is like the pattern that it's following, and she sees like, okay, there's like a couple birth dates missing, but one of the birth dates that she sees that's missing is her own. Her birthday's in January 14th.
But he gave her that birthday card too.
Yeah, so
it's like
she
he's aware of her birthday.
He knows it's her birthday, and like basically, Harker like she's trying to figure out what's going on. She's like kind of running into a wall. She ends up going to talk to Carter, and Carter's like, "Well, when's the last time you talked to your mom?" She's like, "What are you talking about? Like I talk to my mom here and there." And he's like, "Well, she called the police on a guy that like randomly like showed up at your house." A couple days before your birthday when you were younger. What can you tell me about that? And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. That never happened. He's like, yes, it did. There's a police report. Your mom called the police on this guy. You need to go talk to her. So she goes to her house, her mom's house, and is talking to her. And the mom is like, no way, I didn't do that. She's like, Mom, like, you have to tell me about this. Like, what's going on? Yeah. So the mom ends up being like, listen, like, we never got any visitors. Nothing ever happened to us. And then randomly this just dude showed up. And like, that's all I want to talk about. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm not discussing it at all. Hi, Barty man. Wow. So like, basically Harker's like, well, shit, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is so weird. He's talkative. So she goes into her room. She's looking through her old stuff. She has this like huge trunk of old stuff, and she finds this like stack of Polaroids, and she finds a Polaroid of Longlegs from the first time he was there. The little girl in the beginning of the movie is Harker when she's a kid, and that's the first time like he showed up, and like she has just like a photo of his face. So they're like, okay, let's get this circulated out. They get it out. They kind of show like, I'm sorry. I'm reading ahead. They're like, okay, like, let's try to catch this guy. How are we going to find him? He's very like gross looking. Like he's very swollen. He's got like a lot of like botched like facial surgeries. So he like looks crazy. So it's pretty easy to track him down. They find him pretty quickly. And Longlegs is revealed as Dale Ferdinand Cobble. He's arrested and he's
Ferdinand Magellan. Fernando.
He's arrested by the FBI. They're questioning him. They're trying to figure this out. And basically, he's just like not saying anything. He's just like, "Where's Agent Harker?"
Yeah,
so gross. He's so nasty.
Yeah, he's
so
disgusting.
finally, Harker goes in, and they're like, "Listen, we got to figure out if there's an accomplice. He hasn't been doing these murders recently. He's too old. He can't be doing this. There has to be an accomplice. You have to figure this out."
Yeah.
So she goes in to start questioning him. She tries to question him, and he's like, I haven't seen you in so long. You're such a big girl, and like all this stuff, like being like really gross to her. And then she like keeps trying to push him for more and more information, and then just out of nowhere, he kills himself. He slams his face against the metal table that he's handcuffed to like 3 or 4 times, breaks his nose into his brain, and he's done. Yeah. Very graphic, very intense, incredible special effects.
It is really done. Yeah, well done.
So now Harker is like up shit creek without a paddle.
Right, exactly.
And like Carter's being so mean to her. And he's like, we were so close to finding his accomplice. Now we have nothing. You have no information for me. We need to start back and square one. You need to go back to your mom's house and you need to get more information. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we can't believe that you just did this. So she's like, fine, I'll go back to my mom's house. She goes back to her mom's house, can't find her mom anywhere. She was driven back to her mom's house. She's pretty shaken up. She was driven back to her mom's house by another FBI agent. Out of nowhere, Harker's mom is outside with a shotgun and kills the other FBI agent that she was
Shoots her
with.
right in the head, like 2 times.
She like blasts her with both barrels inside her car. Can't even leave the car. Harker starts freaking out. She goes outside and she's like, Mom, what the hell are you doing? And the mom starts kind of like telling the story of what's been happening. Turns out Harker's mom basically was Longlegs' accomplice. Like Longlegs showed up at the house on Harker's birthday. And she's like, please, like, don't do this to my daughter. Like, I'll do anything. I'll sign a deal with the devil. Like, please. So then Longlegs is like, all right, you are my accomplice now. You now have to deliver these dolls to these houses. And basically, you're the one who's like introducing the devil into these houses, and the devil's going to do the dirty work, and the devil's going to kill them. So basically, it's kind of like found out that like that ball inside the head of the doll that's made by Longlegs is possessed by the devil. And the devil,
It's like a demon.
yeah, it's like a demon basically. Or like just like inside of this ball, and that's like basically haunting the families and causing the fathers to murder suicide their whole family.
Yeah.
Harker realizes that and is like, oh no, that's not good. And while Harker's mom is explaining all this, she has a gun pointed at Harker's doll. Harker has a doll. She's just sitting outside. She has the gun pointed to it. She ends up shooting the doll in the head, and you see like this smoke kind of go everywhere from the doll, and then the same smoke kind of comes out of the back of Harker's like brain. And it's like basically realized that like that is like her psychic ability. Like her psychic ability was basically given to her by the devil because of this long leg situation.
Right.
She just passes out, goes to black. God only knows what's going to happen.
Right.
Kind of end of part 2.
Yeah. Pretty
Real
much.
gross.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you.
Question? Go ahead.
You go to visit Deirdre Suarez,
My mama?
your mama. You show up. You're like, hey, Ma. You find out that she's been murdering people for 20 years, 30 years. What's your response? What are you doing to that? What are you doing with that?
I would not be happy about it. It
I would be
bother
quite
me a
cross.
lot. And I wouldn't like snitch on my mom. I wouldn't snitch on my mom.
Chris, you're going to jail.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
What would you do then? You just like try to like distance yourself?
I would try to help her, maybe just like chill out and like not do it.
Mom,
If that
don't
was,
kill
like,
people.
what
That's
she
weird.
did, though, and it was like not like a danger to me. I don't know if I would really like. She's my mom. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna, like,
she's killing families.
If she killed that many people, she's getting life or death. I'm not doing that.
Come on.
No, dude. She's a great lady.
She's a
I don't care.
killer.
Those people probably deserve it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding around. Yeah, and I would never snitch on my mom. I love my mom. You don't love your mom as much as
I love my mom so much.
Yeah.
She's going to jail for murdering people.
Yeah. Well,
Your mom is going to text me or call
I wouldn't
me.
snitch on your mom either. So if she wants to maybe switch sides,
Switch sides. That's not how this
I'm
works.
just saying. You could be an orphan in a heartbeat, dude.
Orphan.
Orphan.
Are you an orphan after you turn 18?
I don't know. You're forever an orphan.
Yeah,
I
like
think.
my mom isn't an orphan.
I think you're forever an orphan. Yeah. Because you don't know your parents.
I know my parents.
I'm saying if she didn't.
No, yeah, but like, I'm saying like if you're 3 years old.
Get off it. Get off it. Get off it.
Okay.
Get off it. Get off it. Get off it.
Do you have a PQ for me?
I have a plethora of PQs for you, my friend. And the first PQ that I'm going to ask you, second PQ question I'm going to ask you is which one of these real serial killers worshipped Satan?
No, I know a couple of these. I might be able to get this one.
A. Ed Gein. Ed Gein, which is who
Edward
Leatherface
Gein.
was based off of. B. Dennis Rader, which is the BTK killer.
Dennis Rodman. BTK killer. What's he do?
The BTK, bind, torture, kill.
Oh.
C. Richard Ramirez. D. H. Holmes, who also was in Michigan. He was from Michigan. Yeah.
I do know the answer for this. I think it was Richard Ramirez.
Bing, 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 bing. C.
Yes.
Dubbed the
Creepy.
Night Stalker by the
Yep.
media. Richard Ramirez murdered at least 13 people in California from 1984 to 1985. So in 1 year, he killed at least one person a month.
Oof.
On September 20th of 1989, Ramirez was convicted of 13 counts of murder, 5 attempted murders, 11 sexual assaults, and 14 burglaries. During the penalty phase of the trial in 1989, he was sentenced to death in California's gas chamber. He stated to reporters after the sentence, quote unquote, "Big deal, death always went with the territory, see you in Disneyland," unquote. The trial cost $1.8 million, which at the time made it the most expensive murder trial in history.
Why would it cost money?
Just, I don't know, because lawyers and everything else. I don't
Oh,
know.
like public defenders, maybe?
And court fees and everything else.
Golly.
It was the most expensive murder trial in history to date till it was surpassed in 1994 by the O.J. Simpson trial.
Dang.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's my
I
peek
feel like
here.
I should really learn more about serial killers.
It's pretty fascinating.
Maybe not. I don't know.
You might want to.
I have a gentle disposition.
Yay! That was a good
That's
PQ. Good job. I'm glad you got that one right.
I
That made me
know some things
proud
about
of
some
you.
things.
I'm happy.
Sorry I don't know about the man who had 29 lady mummies in his house.
Hey,
but
man.
I know some things. So yucky.
Anatoly.
Let's wrap this
Anatoly.
up.
That's his name.
I know somebody named
Anatoly.
Anatoly.
Yeah, it's him, right?
No, I don't know him. I don't think he was Russian. He might have been Russian.
Oh my god.
All right.
Okay.
Hit me with your best shot.
Okay, so basically, like the lid's been blown off at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, like, that's
there
just-
are no more secrets
There's
in
no
the Harker
yeah,
family.
Right. You know, her doll from her childhood gave her like the psychic powers.
Yep.
And Longlegs was always referred to as like the man downstairs because he literally lived in her basement, and her mom just didn't
Which
tell
she
her.
had no idea for the entire time she was living at home.
Yeah, so he would just like make these dolls like in her basement.
gross.
And then her mom would like do the dirty bidding.
Yeah.
And she would just go from house to house. And she dressed like a
dirty
nun. So I mean,
Yes.
like people would like let her in their
Oh, yeah.
house, of course.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. But
Well,
anyways.
yeah, that was like Longlegs' like thing. He's like, you have to be approachable. You have to like, oh, you won something from the church. Like, I've been going to church my entire life. We've never like done like you won something. Like,
Right.
what are these people doing?
Exactly.
Whatever, keep going.
So
Sorry.
she kind of realized that her mom is like not quitting this because her mom thinks this is for her daughter's like best interest, basically, and that is like a fair thing, I would say too. Like,
Yeah.
she thinks she's doing the right thing in her mind, and she's lost her mind too. So there's like that is also like a valid thing. So if she's an FBI agent, Harker's like going to, she's like, I got to stop my mom. She's like, my mom's trying to like kind of fulfill her prophecy, as so to speak. She's trying to like finish her work, rather, you know. Oh. Anyways, Harker shoots Carter to protect his daughter.
Yeah, we got to kind of explain that a little bit here.
Okay, so
Sorry, that jumps pretty quickly. So like at the beginning of the movie, Harker meets Carter's like family.
Right.
And his little daughter is like, oh, can she come to my birthday party? And she's like, yeah, sure, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So it's the day of Carter's daughter's birthday. And like Harker wakes up in her childhood home.
right,
Like after,
This is
like,
after
they shoot
she
the doll.
passed
Yeah,
out,
she like
yeah.
passed out. She wakes up. And she's like, "What the hell is going on?" She's like walking around her house. The phone starts ringing.
yeah,
She's like, "Oh, like hello," and this creepy ass voice goes like, "You forgot about the birthday party." She's like, "Oh shit!" Like Bailey, I think her name is Bailey. You forgot
Yeah,
about
right.
Bailey's birthday party. So she like haul asses over to
Yeah, right,
Carter's house.
exactly.
She goes in and she's like, "Oh my god, am I late?" And they're like, "We are just about to open presents." They turn the corner and there is Bailey with a life-size doll of herself and Harker's mom sitting in the living room, and Carter's already acting fucking weird. So now, sorry, continue with what happens next.
Basically, everything basically ends. I mean, like, it's just like her mother gets shot in the head. I mean, like, it's just like she just has to like basically put her mom down. I mean,
Harker
like, she
has
just
to,
has
like,
to do
end
it.
everything,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
like it's a tough call, but she doesn't hesitate. I mean, like, she just does. I mean,
She did great.
I think she drove there knowing what she had to do.
She knew it was
you know what I
on.
mean? Like, I think
She
she
wanted to
definitely knew that
protect
was a strong
everyone she could,
possibility,
yeah.
at least, you know. And the movie kind of ends weird. It like ends with Longlegs in the interrogation room, and he just says "Hail Satan," and like, you know,
Blows
it's
a
like
kiss, and
it's
it's
like
done.
yeah, it's like, you know, it's cheeky. It's
Very
you know,
cheeky.
like, yeah, like, so it was cool. Like, it was good. It ended well. I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting that her mother helped, and like it was like at first it was against her will, and it almost seemed like by the end it was like her duty.
Yeah, she's like, well, I have
know
to
what
do
I
this
mean?
now.
Like,
I'm into it now.
right.
We gotta keep going. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and I can see how she would be afraid of demons and devils and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That for sure, I get that. So,
Oof, gosh.
yeah.
Well,
But it was a good movie. I thought it was like, I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
yeah.
Yeah,
I give it like an 8 or 9. I really, really.
I know you
enjoyed
liked it a lot. Yeah, you did.
Can I hit you with just one more?
Yeah, of course.
question
Go
here?
ahead, and I'll get you a little. I'll get you at the end there. I'll get you
Yeah.
one more time. I'll get you
Thank
get a little
God.
jab in there for
Thank
you.
God.
All right, go ahead.
Do you believe in demon possession and satanic involvement, or do you just believe some people are just fucking plain evil?
I think both.
Okay.
I don't think it's like a demon necessarily.
Okay.
I think that there are many, many, many dimensions. I think there's actually, like, scientifically it's been proven that there are like a ridiculous amount of like other dimensions. I think that like sometimes there are things in other dimensions that might get trapped here, might get transferred here, and they might need a container of sorts.
A vessel, if you will.
Yeah. And I think that like it just happens. I think that instead of them being like, let's just say exercised out, I think like sometimes people like acknowledging them and like trying to manifest them to leave as quickly as they were manifested to be there somehow,
Yeah.
or maybe even on accident. I think that's a possibility. I think that like there are many things that are not explainable that happen. But I also think people are schizophrenic. I also think people are manic and bipolar. And I think like a lot of times people are misdiagnosed, don't take their medication properly, don't have the right dosage, don't take it consistently at the exact same time every day. There's a lot of things. I think people have like abusive childhoods that could lead to like emotional or like psychological breaks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can happen, right? But I do think there is a like corner of the earth that is a little bit strange, and I think that can happen for sure. What about you?
Okay. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to guess my opinion on this.
I don't
but-
know. Actually, I'm not sure. It could go either way for me. I think.
So I do think there's evil in the world.
Sure, of course.
I think that evil stems from Satan.
Sure.
I think he's kind of behind a lot of stuff.
Satan.
I think that people, to use a very in phrase right now, I think a lot of people fuck around and they find out pretty quickly. I think people mess around with a lot of stuff that's like a lot darker than they think it is. And that kind of opens up their heart and their soul to a lot of really, really evil shit that they kind of take for granted. Like, I'm really not into Ouija boards. I'm really not into anything like the occult. Like, I stay very far away from that.
Yeah.
Because that's just inviting shit that could be a lot more powerful than me. So I'm, like, super good on that. Like, I don't need that. I'm not messing around with that. I don't think that's a fun thing to do.
Right. Okay.
This is coming from somebody in an earlier episode. I can't remember what episode it is, but we talked about our, like, I had, like, an experience with, like, I wasn't, like, possessed by a demon, but like there was an instance where like I was coming across a demon a lot when I was a lot younger. And I just don't like mess around with that stuff like at all.
Yeah.
I think it is very real. I think it's very powerful. And I think it's something that like I'm on the winning team. Like I know that God is bigger than the boogeyman, but like I'm really not interested in like letting him find out how strong of a faith I have. Like,
Sure.
you stay over there, I'm staying over here. I'm good.
That's fair.
I do think it is like the big man downstairs behind a lot of the evil in this world.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot of like us being too selfish to help others. Like us like making ourselves like more important than anyone else.
Right.
And that is why there are a lot of like, you know, not to get too crazy on it, but a lot of people are like, oh, why does God allow famine? I don't think God's allowing famine. I think God gave the tools for famine not to exist to people, and we are being selfish, and we are using our free will to like not do what we're supposed to do. And I think that is the devil like doing that. So I think, you know, satanic shit I'm really not interested in. Like, that is real. I'm super good on it. I'm not trying to be involved in it at all.
Okay.
That's where
Makes
I'm at.
sense.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
You wanna
I'm
hit me
going
with
to
the
hit you a
PQ?
little PQ then. How's that?
A final PQ. Do you have an existential crisis question to ask me after this, or are we
I
ending
don't.
with the PQ?
I have
Thank
an
God.
I have an interesting
Oh God, it
PQ
hurts
for
my
you.
feelings.
Are you ready for this?
Hit me with it.
Okay, I'm going to start with a beginner, and then I'm going to end with my PQ and answer key
Oh, okay.
on this one. It's
Okay.
like a little info
I
at
will do
first.
my best to follow.
Quote unquote archdemon.
Archdemon.
In some occult and similar writings, an archdevil or an archdemon is a spiritual entity prominent in the infernal hierarchy as a leader of demons. Essentially, an archdemon are the evil opponents of archangels.
Okay.
One common medieval classification associate the 7 deadly sins with archdemons. Pop quiz.
Let's hear him.
Which of these demons does not go with the proper deadly sin?
I got this in the
Are
bag.
you ready?
Hit me with it. I hate Catholicism.
A. Satan is wrath.
Okay. I don't have this in the bag anymore. Keep going.
B. Leviathan is envy. C. Mammon is greed.
Mammon.
It's 2 M's, so it would be mammon.
Well, whatever you said first was wrong.
Mammon.
Mammon.
And D.
You got that from 2 M's? Whatever,
It's
dude.
Mammon. Mammon.
Mammon.
No. C would be mammon, would be greed. And D would be Beelzebub, would be pride.
Leviathan does not stand for envy.
That is incorrect.
Fudge. I don't know. That's all Catholicism, man. You guys make up this stuff. These are all names for the devil. What?
It's going to be D. Beelzebub is not pride.
Really? I thought that one was it.
I'm going to read them to you so that
Okay.
you know them all, just so
Yeah.
like in your, and this is only this. So this is, I looked into this because I was looking at all religions.
Yeah.
No other religion has anything like this. This is only Christianity. This is specifically Christianity.
Not all Christianity. Keep going.
But it's only in Christianity.
In Catholicism,
Yeah.
yes.
So you have all 7 deadly sins. It's going to be Lucifer is pride. Mammon is greed.
Mame. I'm not going to do this. I really don't know how to pronounce it.
Asmodeus.
Asmodeus. That I know because of the song.
Asmodeus is
Asmodeus.
lust.
Ooh.
Leviathan is envy. Beelzebub is gluttony.
Okay.
Satan is wrath. Balthazar is sloth.
I agree with that word. That was great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of interesting, though? That they're
So-
associated with that? So those are all different names for the devil, but they're all associated with different 7 deadly sins. That was like how the medieval people would do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Did I ever send you the video? There's TikToks out there. There's this TikTok song which goes like, Belial, Behemoth.
Oh, yeah. I know
Beelzebub.
exactly. Yeah,
That's what I was like. I was like, I got all those
yeah.
names.
Yeah. You're like, I got this.
Yeah. And then it goes, shoot. Belial, Behemoth, Beelzebub. Asmodeus. Satanus, Lucifer. And it's always like pictures of cats.
That's cool.
And for a while, I would be listening to that, and I was like, I cannot keep listening to this. Like,
Yeah.
again, this is inviting shit into my brain that I
my
don't
God.
want. But then it's just so catchy. It was so funny. Because it's just like cats, like freaking out. Oh, it's so funny.
So weird. Okay, so today you were 1 for 3. You were 1 for 3 for PQs today.
Honestly,
That's not terrible.
I'm fine that I
That's
didn't
not
know
bad.
that. I'm
They
totally
were
fine that I
hard.
didn't know that.
I
am so sorry that you know that.
I
now.
felt good about what I did today.
Oh, I don't feel good. You did a great job. I don't feel good that you. Have
I
to
feel
do
you.
that.
But I
feel-
like
I'm
to
sorry.
challenge you.
It is challenging.
So I had to really think
almost-
like a serial killer. I thought of those other options. None
You're
of those
so
ever
vile.
happened. What are we watching next time?
Next week is the culmination of our Halloween October marathon.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching the one, the only, the one and the two, Evil Dead. 1 and 2.
OGs.
The OGs that I've
not the
never
new-
seen before.
Yeah, so these ones are the Bruce Campbell ones. I don't know. I think they're in the 90s
Let's see.
or 80s.
We'll also see if they're streaming somewhere.
Yeah, I think they are on Hulu, I believe. That's wild. On
I'm
Hulu,
so
I'm
annoyed.
pretty sure. Check really quick. But I think they're on Hulu.
Let me look.
These movies are a dark comedy, if anyone hasn't seen them. If you're not like super into horror movie or you want to get into horror movie and you're kind of like easily afraid of certain things, I would start with these because they're really silly and they're really cool. A lot of physical effects, a lot of like Michigan references. People are wearing like U of M sweaters and stuff. Like it's pretty cool. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
The Evil Dead
Yes.
came out in 1981.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Evil Dead 2 came out in 1987.
Nice. Nice.
I'm very excited for these.
Yeah, they're going to be really good. We'll watch them and then we'll do a review on them together.
Guys, it's streaming on Tubi. Welcome back to the podcast, Tubi.
We're in the future. We're living in the future with Tubi. Everybody is sponsored by Tubi. It's free.
Evil Dead 1 is on Tubi. Evil Dead 2 is on AMC Plus, Plex, Pluto, or Movie Sphere by Lionsgate.
Nice. But yeah, so we'll be doing that. I hope everybody's October is going well so far.
It's freezing and warm and freezing and warm.
We'll get back. You have a really nice haircut. It looks really good, man.
I've been trying out this new barber.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I don't know quite yet.
Whatever. Anyways, thanks for listening. We had fun this time. I had a good time with
Really
that
fun.
movie.
I was looking forward to this
Yeah.
so long. Not only because I really enjoy this movie, but I really enjoy podcasting with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you have any questions you want to ask us, let us know. Like and subscribe.
Shoot an email
Watch
to
us on
dishwithjason.
YouTube. We'll still answer questions if we have any for sure. We got you there.
Yeah.
And we'll keep continuing on podcasts. Hopefully, people like the pop quizzes.
Yeah. Let us know about the pop quizzes. They're fun. I hope you guys are playing along at home.
Yeah, I
like
hope
we
so
were talking
too.
about, we wanted to start doing this because like we have heard like situations like this in podcasts before, and we like, we'll pause the podcast and try to like answer the question before too. It's really fun.
It's actually, side note on that, if you're listening, Jeffrey, I hope you got all of those right. If you didn't,
Jeffrey.
yeah, our client. Yep, he listens to our podcast.
Oh, Jeffrey. I was like, who are you talking
Yeah,
about?
shout out to Jeffrey. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you did well on this week's pop quizzes.
Jeffrey, I love you to death. I am so sorry. The first, you said Jeffrey. I thought you were talking about Jeffrey the giraffe from Toys R Us.
No. Okay, cool.
Jeffrey, were you named after Jeffrey the giraffe?
No, he was not.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know you and Jeffrey are that close.
All right, take it easy now. Take it easy now. All right.
No.
So, thanks for listening. Good night. Good
Thank you so
afternoon.
much.
Take care, guys. Bye,
Guys,
bye.
Evil Dead next week. Woo woo.
Yay. All right. Good night, guys. Good night.
Bye.
There, another one down. Literally a cool hour.
Another one bites the dust. Hey.